You notice it quietly at first. The way people build illusions around you, soft stories, false expectations, the image they want you to obey. They shape a version of you that keeps them comfortable, predictable, in control. And if you're not careful, you start living inside their illusion instead of your own truth. That's how most people get trapped. They don't burn the illusion early, so the illusion burns them later. You feel it. That slow pressure, those subtle demands, the silent rules you never agreed to, the unspoken idea that you should stay small so they can stay relaxed. They hide fear behind advice, weakness behind concern, envy behind compliments. And if you don't learn to see through it, you'll spend your life shrinking just to fit inside someone else's story. This is where the trap begins. When you forget that people never react to who you truly are. They react to the version of you that threatens them. Your confidence threatens their insecurity. Your clarity threatens their confusion. Your ambition threatens their limits. So they surround you with illusions meant to soften you, distract you, redirect you. They want you predictable. Because a predictable person is easy to steer, easy to guilt, easy to silence. But here's the turn most never see coming. The moment you tear through the illusion, everything shifts. You become unpredictable. And unpredictability is power. It creates tension. It forces people to recalculate. It pulls control away from them and hands it back to you. The second you stop playing the role they wrote, they panic, because your true potential exposes how fragile their influence always was. So burn it. Burn the illusion before it becomes a cage. Burn the expectations that suffocate your decisions. Burn the soft lies they told to keep you manageable. When you reject the version of you they created, you step into the version they fear most. The one who sees clearly, moves deliberately, and refuses to apologize for existing with strength. Because here's the truth. People don't dislike your power. They dislike that they can't use it. They don't fear your confidence, just the fact that it's no longer under their control. And when you finally rise with clarity, they'll call it change. But deep down, they know it's not change. It's the real you stepping out of the smoke. Burn their illusions now, before they burn your potential later. Your life is too valuable to waste inside someone else's script. Most people never realize how early the illusion forms. It doesn't start with a dramatic moment or a loud confrontation. It starts quietly. One small expectation, one subtle suggestion, one tiny shift in how they speak to you. And before you notice the pattern, they've already placed you inside a frame. A frame they designed to keep you predictable. Every illusion they put on you serves a purpose. Some want you softer so they can feel stronger. Some want you uncertain so they can feel wiser. Some want you dependent so they never have to face their own weakness. And some simply want you silent because your voice disrupts the equilibrium they built on insecurity. This is the psychology they'll never admit. People don't build illusions around the weak. They build them around the ones they quietly fear. The ones who have potential. The ones who could outgrow them. The ones who make them uncomfortable simply by existing with ambition. But the moment you notice the pattern, everything changes. You start seeing the micro moves, the hesitant compliments, the disguised warnings, the fake encouragement that pushes you backwards instead of forward. You see how they try to define what you should be, how you must behave, what you're allowed to desire. None of it is about you. It's about controlling the version of you that threatens them. And when you push back, even slightly, they show you their real face. Suddenly, the friendly tone disappears. The calm voice tightens. The smiles vanish. They stop talking to you like someone they're advising and start talking to you like someone they're trying to contain. That's when you understand the truth. They never supported you. They supported the illusion of you that kept them in control. So when you burn that illusion, when you stop playing the script they wrote, their world cracks. You become harder to predict, harder to influence, harder to manipulate. They can't pull you with guilt or push you with fear. They can't anchor you with doubt or slow you down with false concern. You start operating from clarity, not noise. From intention, not pressure. And this terrifies them because people who operate from clarity break patterns. They move differently. They speak with precision. They walk into rooms without needing permission to exist. This is where your real transformation begins. When you learn to treat illusions like smoke. Visible, distracting, but powerless the moment you walk through them. And once you walk through the smoke, you realize you were never trapped. You were only surrounded by people who benefited from making you believe you were. They need the illusion. You don't burn it. Most people walk through life assuming every connection is genuine, every compliment is sincere, and every promise is rooted in loyalty. But the truth is colder than that. Human nature is a battlefield of hidden motives, quiet rivalries, and unspoken agendas. And the moment you forget that, you hand over control. The moment you let illusions guide your judgment, you step into a trap someone else designed. You must understand something fundamental. Manipulators don't need venom to weaken you. They only need you to believe the version of reality they create. That's why the strongest individuals are not the loudest, the most dominant, or the most intimidating. They're the ones who see through illusions instantly. They refuse to be emotionally hijacked by a smile, a compliment, or a carefully staged apology. Power flows to those who decode intentions before others even detect them. Every illusion people use against you falls into 3 categories. 1. Illusions of loyalty. They act like they're on your side. But their loyalty is conditional, shifting, dependent on what they gain from you. These people smile the brightest while calculating the fastest. 2. Illusions of weakness. They pretend to be harmless to lower your guard. They exaggerate their struggles so they can operate unnoticed. Never underestimate someone who hides behind "I'm not like that." Those are often the most strategic. 3. Illusions of righteousness. They present themselves as morally superior just to guilt you into compliance. Anyone who needs to perform virtue is almost always hiding something darker. Once you start recognizing these patterns, something powerful happens. People lose their grip on you. Their manipulation becomes obvious. Their emotional tactics fall flat. They sense that you're no longer reacting the way they expect. And that alone shifts the power dynamic instantly. This is why burning illusions is not aggressive. It's strategic. It protects your mind from being shaped by someone else's goals. It ensures you remain the architect of your decisions instead of the puppet of someone's narrative. When you see through illusions, you make people uncomfortable, not because you're wrong, but because you're awake. They can't trap you with guilt. They can't lure you with fake warmth. They can't distract you with dramatic emotions. You become immune to the tricks that control ordinary people. And once they realize their illusions no longer work, they show their true face. That is the moment you gain the advantage. That is the moment the game flips in your favor. In a world built on appearances, your clarity becomes your weapon. Burn their illusions without hesitation, because anyone who needs a mask to approach you never had good intentions to begin with. There comes a point in your life where you realize something brutal. People don't manipulate you because they're smarter. They manipulate you because you're distracted, you're emotional, you're hopeful, and hope is the easiest doorway for illusion to slip through unnoticed. The moment you learn to control that, the entire game changes. See, every illusion functions like smoke. It clouds your perception, hides their real intentions, and makes you question your instincts. That's why powerful people don't rely on instinct alone. They rely on observation. They read patterns the way others read emotions. They notice micro-hesitations, tone shifts, changes in behavior. They ask themselves, why now? Why this? What does this person gain if I believe them? Most people never ask those questions. They react. They trust. They get pulled into someone else's emotional frame. And once you step inside another person's frame, you lose the ability to see clearly. You mistake manipulation for empathy, pressure for urgency, and control for connection. You become a participant in a script you didn't write. This is why those who understand Machiavellian psychology operate differently. They analyze before they feel. They look at intentions before words. They judge actions before promises. And that mindset is what burns illusions instantly. Because you're judging reality, not performance. Here's the truth most people can't accept. When someone tries to deceive you, they're not just hiding something. They're testing you. They're measuring your awareness. They're checking how easily you bend. The moment they sense you're blind to illusions, they get bolder. The moment they sense you see through them, they retreat. This is the advantage you gain when you refuse to be controlled by appearances. You force people to reveal their real selves, not the version they advertise, not the version they want you to believe, but the version that emerges when their manipulation fails. That's what burns them. Not your anger, not your confrontation, but your clarity, your ability to stay calm while they panic internally, realizing their illusion has collapsed. And here's another layer most never understand. Illusions don't only come from people, they come from your own mind. Your assumptions, your hopes, your desire to believe someone cares more than they do. Your fantasies about who someone could be instead of who they are. If you don't burn those illusions too, you'll sabotage yourself without any enemy needing to lift a finger. The moment you strip away illusion, you become someone they can't predict, someone they can't manipulate, someone whose decisions are rooted in strategy, not emotion. And that makes you dangerous in the best possible way. Burn illusions and you become untouchable. Let illusions live and they will burn you first. There's a moment when a person realizes you're no longer responding the way they expect. And that moment is where the real power begins. When you stop reacting emotionally, when you stop giving them the satisfaction of predictable responses, a subtle panic spreads through them. They feel it instantly. They know something shifted. They know the illusion they built no longer holds you. This is the part they never prepare for. The version of you that thinks strategically. The version of you that observes silently. The version of you that listens without absorbing. When you reach that state, you become someone they can't manage, can't manipulate, and can't read. And nothing terrifies a manipulator more than losing access to your mind. Because they don't need your love. They need your confusion. They don't need your trust. They need your reaction. They don't need your loyalty. They need your doubt. Once you take those away, their influence dies on the spot. Many people believe power comes from speaking loudly or acting aggressively. But Machiavellian power is different. It's subtle. It's psychological. It's built in the quiet moments where you choose discipline over impulse. It's the cold truth that you don't need to fight people to defeat them. You just need to stop feeding their illusions. And when you do that, something fascinating happens. Their behavior reveals everything. They get irritated. They get inconsistent. They become sloppy. They expose more than they intend to hide. This is how the strategic mind wins. Not by force, but by patience. Not by proving you're right, but by letting their own patterns betray them. Here's the part that stings for them. When you stop falling for their illusions, they lose their power long before they even realize it. They think you're the same. They think their tricks still work. But internally, you've already detached, already decoded their tactics, already burned every false story they tried to sell you. And when you detach, something else rises inside you. Clarity. The clarity to choose who earns access to you. The clarity to see who drains your energy. The clarity to stop tolerating people who thrive on your confusion. This clarity transforms your presence. It makes you appear stronger, sharper, more composed. People sense it. They step differently around you. They watch their words. They hesitate before trying anything, because they can feel that you're no longer someone who gets lost in illusions. You're someone who sees straight through them. And that's when you become truly dangerous. Not because you intimidate, but because you understand. Understanding is the kind of power no one can take from you. It stays, it grows, it sharpens, and it silently separates you from the world you once tolerated. Burn their illusions, and you become someone they can't manipulate. Burn your own illusions, and you become someone they can't predict. There's a point in every transformation where the world around you begins to sense the shift. They won't admit it out loud, but they feel it. The tightening of your focus, the sharpening of your presence, the cold precision in the way you now move. This is the moment when people start watching you differently. They notice the silence you've learned to use like a blade. They notice you don't over-explain anymore. You don't chase. You don't react. And that terrifies anyone who depended on your uncertainty to keep you small. Because once you stop living inside their illusions, they lose access to the version of you they could manipulate. You become something they never expected. A mind they can't predict. A presence they can't influence. A force they can't bend. And nothing threatens fragile people more than someone who has finally learned to think for themselves. They panic, quietly. They look for cracks. They test you with small provocations, hoping the old you will resurface. But you don't. You stay still. You stay composed. The silence becomes the signal that you've outgrown their tactics. What they don't understand is simple. The moment you detach emotionally, the game is over. You've already won. They just haven't realized it yet. Every manipulator relies on one weakness, your need for reassurance. The second you stop needing it, their entire strategy collapses, and all that remains is the truth behind the mask they wore. And that truth is always the same. People only try to control what they secretly fear. They fear your clarity. They fear your independence. They fear the strength you build when you're no longer tied to their validation. So you keep moving. Not out of anger, not out of revenge, but out of discipline. You no longer fight to be understood. You no longer argue to be right. You simply rise, quietly, consistently, deliberately, until the life you're building is too far above the chaos they still live in. That's the silent victory they never see coming. And here is the final piece of the psychological trap that makes you untouchable. You stop trying to destroy their illusions one by one. You burn them all at once. You refuse to play the role they scripted for you. You refuse to shrink so others can feel comfortable. You refuse to dim the parts of you that threaten their insecurities. The moment you do this, you become something rare. A person who doesn't just break illusions, but creates reality. Your own reality. A reality built on strategy, discipline, and emotional sovereignty. The traits every powerful mind eventually discovers. Traits they pray you never unlock. But you did. And now you're stepping into a chapter that only the relentless ever reach. A chapter where your silence is authority, your choices are weapons, and your growth is the one thing they can't extinguish. Burn their illusions before they burn you, and you'll never walk into a room powerless again.